Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you guys have had a good day. I am going to test something, if you don't mind, before we begin. Just want to see if I'm able to play some music in the background while I play a video, and I'll tell you why here. Hang on just a moment. Okay, so I have a video that I want to play off of my videos, but the music in it is copyrighted. So I found some uncopyrighted music that I can play with it that goes very well with it. So just tell me if you can hear this music real quick. I'm going to go ahead and play it. You tell me if you can hear just the music. Can you hear that music? Hi, Pam. How are you? Hi, Kelly. Can you hear that music? Okay, good. Thank you. All right. All right. Thank you so much for bearing with me on that. All right. So you were able to hear the music, right? Hi, Sorceress. How are you? Thought I'd play a couple videos here before I begin. I can close that out now. All right. Okay, so first of all, there are a few new documents on the case file. It's nothing really to write home about. And I'll show you. There's see the 12th, 14th, the 13th and the 14th, or actually this one. They have a 12th supplemental request for discovery from the defense, and then, but everything's sealed, so there's really no point in going over them. They're asking for some specific information from some of the exhibits. That's all. So I don't really need to go over that. I think I have all my stuff up here. Hi, Hot Mess. How are you doing? Today I'm going to go over some of the latent footprint. I know a lot of people talk about the latent footprint that they found. I'll show you where that is in the PCA and, kind of some of the stories and rumors and thoughts going on around about it. And I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about why it was in the PCA and if it's the only footprint they found. A lot of people have said things like, well, that's the only footprint they found. So that means that there must have been, 8 hours of cleanup, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to kind of bring a few things up here and see what you guys think about all this. Nobody knows for sure on anything really, but I hope this can answer a few questions, the things that I bring up. So thanks for being here. Be sure to hit that like button for me. All right, so there's this really good article that I found that I'm going to start with because it brings up some of the really good stuff that the PCA did not answer. So I do have the Pennsylvania PCA and the new PCA. They're almost the same anyway, but we'll go back here. So the PCA does not, of course, explain, right, Hot Mess, does not explain his motive. It offered a detailed account of the steps authorities took to identify Kohberger, but it doesn't reveal anything about his motive. Of course, the state doesn't have to prove motive anyway. They never do. It's always kind of that cherry on top if they can prove a motive. But they don't have to. Just like the defense does not have to prove his alibi. The burden is fully on the state. Now, at the last hearing, if you guys happen to see that or hear about it, the defense brought up the alibi again and wanted an extension, and the judge granted it. And that is pretty unheard of. Usually by now, if they're going to raise the alibi defense, it would have been raised a long time ago. And the judge had said he was done hearing about the alibi a while back. But he gave them until April 17th, so a month from now. If they're going to present an alibi defense, they have to present it by that date. Now, they did present, let's see. Let me find where. I just pulled up everything. Let me find where the alibi one was. I have too much stuff today. Pretty sure I pulled it up. Now here was his alibi. Really? Huh, that's weird. Why is it not one to play? Okay, come on.
This morning, Brian Kohberger's alleged alibi revealed for the first time. Kohberger's attorneys say he was on a long drive alone the night 4 University of Idaho students were murdered in November. In a new 4-page court filing, the defense says Mr. Kohberger has long had a habit of going for drives alone. Often he would go for drives at night. He did so late on November 12th and into November 13th, 2022. But beyond that, the defense didn't reveal much more in the alibi, adding, Mr. Kohberger is not claiming to be at a specific location at a specific time. There is not a specific witness to say precisely where Mr. Kohberger was at each moment around the time the murders took place.
They wanted to comply with the rules, not be precluded from an alibi defense. but give the state as little as they possibly could so they don't have to reveal their hand.
However, the defense did say it's possible corroborating evidence of the alibi could be provided by witness testimony during the trial that's scheduled to begin in October. Koberger is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin.
Okay, so when I heard about that, I did a video called The Alibi That Wasn't. I'm really proud of that video. If you guys go back and watch that one. And today I did, on my channel, I made a new playlist of my personal favorite videos that I've done, the ones that are near and dear to my heart. And then I also shared some other bits of my content over to my community tab. Some of the things that, a year ago when I only had 2,000 subs, I didn't have a lot of views on them, of course, So I reshared them today or yesterday. Shoot, I don't know, slept since then. So if you could go back and check those out, because it's some of the early case stuff. And I think they're pretty interesting. Your chat's not working? Try going out and coming back in again. So there was that. That was his alibi. I'm going to close that one out so it's out of my way. Hang on just a moment. Hang on, I'm going to close that. There we go. Okay, so what I made here is kind of an example image thing of a latent print. You know how when you get out of the tub and your feet are all wet, you only have you in the chat? That's weird. Oh, you know what? Okay. Is chat not working for people right now? I know that YouTube's been acting weird. If you're not able to chat, you can just watch and comment after if it's not working. I guess that happens sometimes. Okay, so you know how when you get out of the tub and your feet are wet? Well, imagine if that's, blood, and it's the same kind of concept. If you step in something, even have you ever stepped in dog crap, for example, and tracked it along a little bit, or water, or whatever you step in, it's going to be, real obvious at first. And what I did, by the way, is I had to make this floor because I had to kind of make it match what I found on the very last TikTok that they had. I'm going to show you that real quick before I even begin that, actually. So this was shortly before all that happened. I'm going to play this TikTok here. This is when they were goofing off, pretending to be each other. Maybe I have too many stupid tabs open.
God, it smells like dirty dick in here. Murphy, you've been a bad boy.
So right there behind her, this is the door that Dylan looked out to see Brian, who was probably right around in this spot at the time that she saw him, or the suspect, I should say, but turned around the other way, heading that way to the kitchen. So he had allegedly come in the back door, back here, come in, went upstairs, up here, did all those awful things, came back down this way, and I've got the pictures of the inside of the house too. I'll show you guys. Went into, excuse me, to Xana and Ethan, and then came back out, and that's when she allegedly saw him. People have to keep in mind, and I'll show you right here.
That's 9:10.
There's that step right there. That's a step up. See it right there?
We dropping class.
That's a step up. So if you're standing up here, for example, and you're walking that way, you're going to appear a little bit taller, I would think.
I'm fucking late for my meeting. I'm supposed to be there 10 minutes ago.
Did anybody do their chores today? Fuck, I'm just gonna do it.
So I just kind of copied the floor is what I did onto the image just to kind of see that step right there. And they were just goofing off and being normal. This was right before, guys. And I want to point out that there's not just, this is that big Bluetooth speaker that we've seen several times that connects to devices, right? There was lights here. There were lights here. Let me hit play. There were lights over here on this wall. I think people assumed that that room was really dark, but I don't think it was. Just look at all the lights they had going on.
You guys, it's 8. Gotta go. Jake's calling. Oh.
There was also this light right here. And I don't know if this video shows the good vibes over here on the other side or not.
Oh my god, I look horrid.
Get out of here. You seriously gotta get out of here. You're fucking stupid as shit out.
Hey guys, I know I talk about myself a lot, but like, what would you guys do in my situation?
So you can see the lights in the window.
You guys gotta go pull your ass. Failed 12 already.
Does anyone do like a wine night? Like, let's just do a wine night.
Yo, is it okay if I have a party? Like just 3 or 4 people at most.
All right. So that video did not show the other, the other wall over there that had the good vibes, but I'll show you all that as well. So, like I said, I just kind of copied the floor, kind of to make it from scratch. But what I wanted to do was kind of give you an idea. Hey, Pam, is what happens when somebody's walking along and the footprint just gets lighter and lighter as they're walking. And now you can barely see it, right? And you have to consider the fact that that floor was all kinds of weird patterns. Can you see the footprint here? It's really hard to see, but it's actually right here. And I took not just the red, but I did the this one, the pattern that matched the shoe, the diamond pattern. I put that under there as well. So, but with every step, the footprint gets lighter, and then pretty soon there's really nothing visible at all within just a couple of steps. So you can't even tell, you can't even see it here at all, right? So this is what's called a latent footprint. It's there. I promise you there's a footprint there, but you can't see it. And I did kind of the same thing here with a few steps. Can you see any of the footprints on this one? There's actually 3 footprints on this photo. The first one over here, you can kind of see. And then the second step is right here. Can't really see it. And then there's another one right here. You can't see it. So that's what it means. It just means it's latent. It's just faded the more the person walks. So that was my thumbnail. So that's what I'm going to dig into today. What it means when there's a latent print. And the reason that I brought up that video is because it shows that you really, with the pattern on the floor,
God, it smells like dirty dick in here. Murphy, you've been...
You can't really see anything, right? That pattern is so hard to see things on. It would have been really hard to see any kind of print or design on that floor anyway. And it would have, unfortunately, been a kind of a trail all the way down this hallway. So let me show y'all pictures real quick. of where that would have been. So these were just photos that I saved off of Zillow way back before they took it down. Do I have one of the living room? I haven't even looked at these today. Yeah, right here. So look at that floor, you guys. There's no way that you could even see the trail. Up here was where the good vibes, actually it was on this wall. And then there was like a drink cart with Christmas lights hanging on it and another picture above. So all of this would have been lit up. There was lights all the way around the room, even in the window. But the fact that the floor is that pattern would have made it even harder to see. We don't know if the students knew him. Originally, they said that they were sleeping. Everybody thought that they were sleeping because that's what the police said. And that was probably because he was still out there. They hadn't caught him, so they didn't want to, give out too much information at the time. So they just told everybody they were sleeping at the time. But it came out later when the PCA was released that they were, in fact, not sleeping, which is awful, really awful. So if we go to this is where it talks about the footprint, the latent. It says, during the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then aminoblack, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material or blood. The detected shoe print shows a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans shoe sole just outside of the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. So the only reason that they put anything in here about a print that they found was because it helped connect the dots in the story of what happened, what she heard and saw. It was just kind of, corroboration of her saying that she'd seen him coming toward her, walking past her. And I would also assume, although I don't think it's in here, but it's probably facing, toward the kitchen. So the issue that I've always had with them saying diamond pattern is this right here. If you look at, it said similar to Vans shoe. However, if you look at Vans shoes, it's not all diamond. There's also these, like, I guess, honeycomb pattern in there as well, which is really weird because if I had looked on Walmart, in the PCA, it said, or in one of the search warrant returns, it said that they found a Dickies tag with receipt. Didn't say what it was, but I'm wondering if it was this, because the Dickies slip resistant, which is awful to say, shoes have all diamond pattern on the bottom. So we'll have to wait and find out what it was. I know that during the trial, we'll probably get to see the footprints and we'll see if it was an all pattern like this or if it was a Vans. Doesn't really matter because like everybody wears Vans, Let's see if there's any others in here that I wanted to pull up. Then this one you can kind of see. You can see this big step right here. You see all of the living room. It was like dusty, wasn't it? But there was this big step right down. And it looks like they changed these floors out since these photos were taken back then. But it's quite a step down. All right. So again, latent print just means that they couldn't see it. It does not mean that there weren't other prints. There were probably other prints all over the place, but they mentioned that one in the PCA only because it corroborated her story of what she's seen. So let me see here. This is the question that you had, right? The PCA didn't answer that. It says we don't know if any of the victims were targeted, and we don't know if the alleged killer knew any of them prior to the attack. We do know that Koberger's phone was in the area around the crime scene on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th, according to the arrest document. It said all of those occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of the respective days. And then the big question that everybody wants to know is, why Dylan waited so long, why there was that long gap. Apparently this happened between 4 and 4:25 a.m. She heard all that weird stuff and saw this man. It says right here in the PCA, for anybody that's not familiar, said right here. Diem stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Diem described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Diem did not say that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. And also I want to address this really quick. You know how hey, Wilby, people will read something in here and then they just kind of go with it. So there's this statement right here that's in the PCA. It says the combination of DM statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, that's Bethany and Dylan, a video of a suspect. They should have said car there. Okay. Car, as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25. So a lot of people have taken this right here and the, sorry, but fake messages between Brett and Steve and assumed that Dylan and Bethany were awake and aware the whole time, knew what was going on, and chose not to call the police. I don't believe that for a damn minute. Not for a minute. And I certainly don't believe that he'd be telling a stranger any of that before he even knew who she was, like way before. But anyway, let me keep going here. So since authorities have not recovered the weapon used, we don't know if they actually may have gone back and retraced his steps according to, that big horseshoe path that they said he took after 4:25 and then back to his apartment. We don't know. Maybe they have in the meantime gone back and retraced all of that and found. We don't know. They could have found it by now. So they were looking for, knife, murder clothes, the kit thing that they were talking about. We don't know what they found. All they found at the house was that sheath that had the DNA on it. And then it talks about the footprint here. Investigators detected a shoe print showing a diamond-shaped pattern just outside the door. And it did not say if that print has been connected to Koberger. None of the court documents say a size on that shoe that they found, but we know that he was a size 12, if I remember correctly. So again, that's another thing that's got to wait for a trial to find out. Let's see. there was something in here. I can't find it now. I'm not going to worry about it. I've got all these tabs to go through. This is where they talked about the print. The footprint found inside the home. Come on, go away, ads. Could help them build their case. So, but it said, however, its value may depend on what else detectives found with a series of search warrants served. And they did get a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't think we've seen the full list, you guys, of everything that they did get. I don't think we've seen it all. They don't put all of the files public on this. This isn't the actual court file that we're having access to. This is the public page that they're allowing us to see. As we found from February 9th, for example, or February 8th, right here, they had filed their intention to file the interlocutory appeal with the Supreme Court. You don't see it here, do you? And we won't. So I bet you there's a lot of stuff on there as well that we've never seen. For anybody wondering, if you haven't seen it before, I'm sure you have, but this is just the house here. Come on. That's the house before it was demolished. And now Enon Harsh, I don't know if he's going to be called back as a witness again because he's gone all over the place and changed his story several times. So I don't think he's going to be considered a reliable witness. He said he saw a white car right here, right up in here. There's stairs, so it would have been right here. I would have think that he would have parked back here because it was quite dark, super dark back here. So I don't know. I would have, thinking like that, like if you know you're going to need to leave in a hurry, wouldn't you park back here? But they found car tire tread out here. Remember when they were measuring and taking photos? So what, did he turn and then peel out? I don't get it. Let's see. This is one that I'm going to put this link in the chat because I think this is a really good one for people to read on your own. It's kind of long. But it talked about right here that it was a horrific scene, and you're talking about the lives of 4 young people, and you have direct involvement with that. And then he said, here you're seeing things that humans probably shouldn't see. And I can't imagine. I cannot imagine what they had to see and sort through in there. It's a lot. Don't need that. That was the TikTok again, where you could see the floor area here, and that was Dylan's room. This is a really good article too. I'm going to put this in chat for anybody that's just kind of, people research different things. We don't know. No, I don't want to do that. Really? You turd. We're not going to get to see it. What you do, though, is use the Wayback Machine. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can get around those things by putting the URL in the Wayback Machine, just so you know. So this was some of the search warrant stuff, things that they found. I was looking, there it is, the knife. When they found, it only says knife, and we don't know what knife it was because they only said knife. It could be the knife. We don't know. And all this other stuff that they got, laptop, cell phones, tablet, hard drives. There's a slew of evidence, I'm sure, that they got off of those. Let's see here. So this is some more information on how they make latent prints visible. And this is even not really even a latent print. You can pretty much see that But once they put the amino black on it, they can really see it. And then that's when they photograph it. So I read all of this. It explains all the shoe pattern stuff. I'm such a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. This one I thought was really cool because it's kind of the thing that I was showing. See if I can zoom in here. These are actual footprints that they did, that they found, and these are blood stamps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just keeps going all the way to 16 steps, and it's still there. They can see that once they spray amino black or whatever they're going to use. So not all footprints look like these. A lot of them will look like these, not visible to the naked eye. But they go around and they spray everywhere, and then they're like, oh shit, here's one, and they mark it and take photos. And then they can do that. They use that to recreate the path of the person in the house. So I bet you that was why the charging documents said Maddie, Kaylee, and then Xana and Ethan. They're in that order. And I bet that's because they went back. They already had information as to, mixtures and things. I hate to talk graphic, but like Bethany wouldn't have had anything. Well, not Bethany, I'm sorry. Maddie would have only had hers. But then Kaylee would have had some of Maddie's blood, right? And they go to the third person, and then they're going to have you know what I mean? It just keeps, they would know who's first and who's last by that. And they will know his path by all of the footprints through the house. And so whatever footprint that they found outside of Dylan's door would have been anywhere from, number 8 all the way through 16. And they probably got the footprints leading back and forward out the door. And I think that they got one outside the door as well. I remember seeing them out there marking something in the mud. I think they even got his path of travel away from the house, but we don't know. Hi, Cinnamon. Hi, how are you? This is kind of boring.
Here at the
I'm going to play
Wisconsin State
it.
Crime Laboratory, our latent print and footwear analysts examine submitted evidence for friction ridge detail, such as fingerprints, palm prints, and even footprints. We also search for footwear impressions left behind from the outsoles of shoes.
Do you notice there that, like, you can't really see them without the special light? See how she's demonstrating these footprints? They're only visible with whatever chemical that she sprayed on there and her special light. So I thought that was interesting to show you guys.
Behind from the outsoles of shoes. When we touch items or walk through a room, there is a chance that we leave our marks behind, but they can be difficult to detect. To examine evidence, we use different lighting techniques and wavelengths, as well as different physical and chemical processes, depending on the surface type and the type of residue in which the friction-rich detail or footwear impression was made. Processes such as ninhydrin, fingerprint powder, or fluorescent dye stain can aid in visualizing these marks. When friction-rich detail is found, it is documented by photography or lifting and then analyzed. We then compare these prints to known photographed so that they can be compared to known shoes submitted to the lab. When comparing, we consider class characteristics and randomly acquired characteristics. We can also perform investigative lead searches of unknown impressions to determine the possible make and model of a shoe which made that unknown impression. Our conclusions are then formulated into a report and distributed to the submitting agencies. And when called upon, we testify.
Okay, so again, there's that where she showed, you can't really see, especially right there. This was a really good example here, where you just can't see those footprints with your naked eye. So I'll bet you anything there were a lot of footprints in the house. All right, so let me see what this is. Somebody apparently made this for college class or something. I don't know, but it was a interesting little slide about footprints as well. I'm a geek. I love reading stuff like this. I like to try to understand. Come on, pictures. So you can see here that you couldn't even see it, right? But they were able to pull it off the floor, which I find so fascinating. Even when you think you're not leaving footprints behind, you are. I don't know why these aren't showing right now, but I think my computer's like, you got too many tabs open, like your brain. Let me see what this one is now. I'm gonna close this one. Let me close these that we've already looked at because I think it's putting too much load on my system. Definitely don't need that one. This is like the software that they use to identify. They'll take those prints and put them in. There's like 2 different softwares that they use, and they can really get detailed on everything. There was this little video here you can watch. It was pretty interesting on how they can figure out what type of shoe they were. This is really long. Like, you would have to really want to dig into the footprint evidence to read all of this. If anybody is wanting to research, just let me know. I'll send you all these links. You can email me. And this is another one. There's so much that they have to know. It's just, oh, that was a lot. I don't think that one was super useful, though. Hang on. Let me see what this one was. Y'all know me. I like to just get done with it. Oh, this was kind of cool because this is just all these random footprints. There's shoe prints that I found. I like this one. I'm like, I want to use this for something. I want to buy some of these. But every shoe leaves a completely different print. So that's how they can find you. That's how they get you. And I don't think there was a Vans one in here. That's what I was looking for. I think I found that one somewhere else that I used. But it's crazy how each specific shoe will leave a specific print behind. Oh, here's the one that I did find on Vans. So we don't know what the shoe print looked like that they found. It could have had the label Vans in it. It could have had this big circle. Most Vans are the diamond shape here, the diamond shape here, and then circle-y kind of things in the middle. So it'll depend on the shoe, but they know what it is for sure. I think that was the only photo on there. I'm not going to bore you with a whole bunch of reading, that's for sure. Let's see. This is the tour. The tour is still up. If anybody wanted to look at the tour of the house, it is still there. It's basically kind of a recreation that somebody had done. Am I up on the 3rd floor? I think I am. So yeah, so they did a good job on kind of recreating all this stuff, but the person would have walked this way, and then, or kind of like this out the door. So the footprint lead is probably the whole trail is going to be all the way this way. And remember, there's photos of them. There's this lady that was like straddling something and taking a photo of it straight down right up in here that we could see from the outside. And I bet you that was another footprint. And then this is the video of the outside the house at night where you could see, if I can find it in here. Nope, it was right behind her. Hang on. I think this is it anyway. Hang on. There's the back. Hold on. I'm not sure if this is it or not. There was one that showed the front of the house that had this window was still lit up, but this is after that, I guess. So, let me see. This is where they found all that stuff. I already showed you on the other page, so we don't need to go through that. I was just pulling up all my research links. And then that's what I just had up. These are the PCAs. And again, that's just the print thing that I made to match the floor, and how if he was walking through there, the first prints would have been very visible. And then as he went along, they would have gotten lighter and lighter until you just can't really see them anymore. But there's one right there. And there's one right there. So, and then on this one was an example of 3 prints that you can't really see at all with the naked eye. So that's all that was about. And on here, there was a print back there that you really couldn't see either. So I just find that really fascinating. And again, I think there's a ton of footprints all the way this way and back. You know, there's going to be a trail going and a trail coming back and out the door. So sleuthing people really brings things to the light. Yeah, exactly. This isn't the best view, in my opinion. But again, you know, this room was not dark, you guys. This used to be the coolest thing, too. And I don't know why they changed it. There used to be all kinds of stuff in here where you could turn off the light. See if they still have that. See right here where they put the print? I think that's pretty accurate as far as where the print would have been found. But there would have been more prints going out the door. This thing is hard to navigate, y'all. That's where she would have peeked out and seen them. But this thing used to be where you could turn off the lights and see. But this reenactment thing that they made did not have any of the lights that were over here. And the big speaker, the lights in the window. I think it was a little more well lit. So by the time he got here, he was kind of lit up, you know, and then went that way. So I just think it's really fascinating. You know, I know the families can't wait for a trial, but we can't wait to see what all they knew, what all they had. This one, speculation, no, he was not outside. They were both in there. You can tell that from the PCA. It says, I think it's up here. Right here, I think. Okay, so it says they were going down the hallway, the west bedroom of the second floor. Going down the hallway. was Xana's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south or the left, which is right there. I think I can walk in there. No, I'm not going to worry about it. And then it says, as I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle. And then also in the room was a male. So they had to get close before they could see him. Am I able to walk in there? All right. So they could see her here, and then he was on in there. And if you remember, once they were, whoo, they put me in the corner. Once you were in here, and these are not exact, like for instance, well, they did get the closet in this one. You remember the exterior of the house? Yeah, that right there. That's on the exterior of the house. Isn't that awful? So we don't know if the bed was like this. It could have been the other way. We don't know if he was on the bed or maybe in the corner over here or up against the wall. We don't know. But somebody was definitely over there for all that to be on the outside of the home. And then she was likely right inside the doorway. So how do I get out of here? I don't need the closet. Help. Get me out of here. Okay. Yeah, the closet in that one is backwards from the actual photos, I believe. Anyway, so that is it. I just wanted to kind of go over the footprint stuff. Most of the links that I've shown, I will put them in the description below for anybody that wants to check, do a little more reading if you want. That is it for tonight. I just wanted to make this really a quick, brief one because it is officially spring break here, and we have so much stuff to do tomorrow that I am going straight to bed because we got to get up early. We've got a big day. Me and my girl are going shopping and all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to go hang out with my older daughter because she's off tomorrow as well. So I got a big day going tomorrow. So I'm going to go on to bed, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for coming. And you guys have a lovely night, okay? See y'all later. Have a good night.
Hey all y'all, how y'all doing today? All y'all have a good day.